After qualifying, they said you may have a problem come race time. They may get a little slick halfway through. So it'll be interesting to see his progress as these laps go down.
Well, Dorsey, that's a very good point. He may have knowledge of the track in his car, but a brand new tire compound and starting on stickers, that could be very problematic.
Well, what happens with stickers are they run too hot. When you first run them, the first heat cycle you put in on a sticker tire, they get really hot. They'll drop some 20 degrees temperature on the second run. Well, Rick doesn't have much time to do a second run. He's on stickers now. So if they get really hot, over 210 degrees, he'll start squirming around for sure.
So maybe very strong, very good idea by Bobby Archer to hound him mercilessly, keep that pace up and overheat those tires as much as possible and take a run at him. Also some traffic coming up here. That's a car. It's Terry Lackey who's limping around. So I think he's going to be able, both will be able to slide by nicely. And they do, although Cooper got a run on him. But Bobby Archer working the mission right now. And I'll tell you, this is a guy who's got some experience here at Lime Rock as well, Biz.
Well, talking to Bobby Archer before the start of this race, he was very happy with the way the car performed up in Canada. Of course, they won that race. He likes the Lime Rock track. They finished third here last year. He thought the race would come towards him in the closing laps. Look for a great battle up front, guys.
Well, we are right in the thick of it right now. There's Diorio in the red Mustang, Archer in the blue Viper, and they have drawn away a little bit again from Bill Cooper, but he closes right up in this section. He's got a great run, Cooper does, through that right-hander.
Yeah, he gets the Corvette through there cleanly, and he makes up the ground a little bit there on Bobby Archer, or Tommy Archer, rather. Diorio, I think his tires might be going off. I see that thing starting to be a handful as he comes off corners. Looks like it's spinning the tires up on the exits corners.
You know, it's interesting here. We were speculating that this track might really favor the Acuras or perhaps the Porsches a little bit, being momentum. But we got three big, high horsepower V8s or V10s in the front.
Yeah, but it's still early in the race, and these things tend to go off more gradually. It'll be toward the end. You see Cooper again getting away from the bumps, I think, running down kind of the middle of the racetrack instead of just getting all undulated over there.
You can see the margin from our top three back to Biscup, the white and green Porsche right here. He currently runs in the 4th spot. And when he
there was the bumps. You see, it was we were just talking about the bumps on the outside. He drove it to the outside. You saw him in the brake zone. He almost lost the car as a result of going up and down over the bumps.
He was doing the proverbial flail inside the cockpit to save it.
That was a good save, but you get over there and you brake, and it starts locking up brakes and jumping up and down. There's not much you can do. Real good save right there by George.
Yeah, Biscup drives the Biscup racing machine. It was a bit of a question mark coming into the opener Mosport. Nobody was really real familiar with him, and he was awesome up there, and he continues to impress here. We go a little bit further back. There's Pete Halsmer in the Acura.
All these cars spinning the tires up over the uphill. You hear the engines revving up there.
This Acura, a mid-engine machine, the NSX is, and really strong in the handling department, but still not quite on par horsepower-wise. And it certainly looks right now as we go on board with Pete, that horsepower is what's paying off, at least right now.
Well, the Honda American Racing Team guys have been working with this car. They're really trying to get it a little bit quicker. Pete Halsmer, a very, very experienced race car driver. He's getting the most that he can out of the car. You can bet on that.
Boy, and a good battle behind him is 94 Dave Shart on the driving the Toyota Super Turbo. Right behind him is Reese Cox in the new Chevy Corvette C5. And this too, this Toyota program is one that is in the development stages. They were running in the street stock programs the last couple of years. They really liked what they were seeing in the Speed Vision GT Championship and decided to give it a try. So they're developing on the go. And of course, Cox in the vet behind him. That's a brand new program for that brand new C5.
Well, Lime Rock is not an easy place to drive a turbocharged car. I know because I've driven one here before. All turbocharged cars have a little bit of turbo lag. What you want at Lime Rock is torque, massive amounts of torque. That says Viper. That says Corvette. That says Mustang Cobra.
Boy, and it is working. There is Shart. There comes Cox down the hill. We go back to the battle at the front, and there's some traffic for Diorio and Archer. They've driven away a little bit from Cooper. We're on board now with Archer, and I see there's some smoke coming from that car, the lap car we're coming up on. And that's the Mustang of Paul Brown, and I don't know whether he's depositing anything, but that smoke certainly has to be a little distracting. And, oh, Archer's going to get trapped on the outside.
Yeah, he's trapped on the outside, and they need to get by that car because if that's oil, it'll oil up the windscreen. You won't be able to see anything.
Things are getting interesting here in the early going of our Speed Vision GT action at Lime Rock.
These are the Schmidts of Munich. This is their new Porsche Boxster. In order to drive it Monday, Wednesday and Friday, Mr. Schmidt has agreed to assume dog washing responsibilities. And Mrs. Schmidt, in return for Tuesday, Thursday and the coveted Saturday, has to make Mr. Schmidt's favorite Pinkelwurst 3 times a week. On Sundays, they share the Boxster. Of course, this leaves out young Dieter, who has just earned his driver's license. As in all domestic disputes, it's the children who suffer most. The Boxster. Once again, there is no substitute.
Hey, boys, I'm lost. I'm looking for Franklin Street exit. I'm going around for an hour. Come on.
Want more power? Try Valvoline SynPower Complete Fuel System Treatment. Cleans your entire fuel system with advanced synthetic technology.
Log on to speedvision.com and get the fastest, most up-to-date information in news, events, original programming, and lifestyles of speed.
Meet the 64 Dodge Dart. The new kind of compact in the large economy size. Get behind the wheel of this one. Here's the compact you've been looking for. Family-sized room. Power to spare. Rugged. Good-looking as they come. Dodge Dart, the family-sized compact at the little compact price.
You gotta meet up with a dependable move up. With a dependable move up. With a dependables built by Dodge. Oh, boy!
64 Dodge Dart, the new kind of compact in the large economy size.
We are back at Lime Rock, and Bobby Archer has cleared that traffic, and it took him no time at all to reel in Diorio once again. Hear that little squeal? That's the brakes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just real hard compound brake pads are running. When it gets on the brakes hard, you hear that little squeal there.
Archer using them very effectively right now and is all over Diorio, and of course they're coming into some traffic once again. Here's that diving turn and onto that long front straight. And Bobby Archer, he talked about in the open of the show the problems that they had up in Moseport. But Biz, things are going a lot better for the Viper Speed team this weekend here at the Rock.
Well, we just talked to Bobby Archer's crew chief. We're asked what was going on the radio. He says, I've never heard my driver so quiet. They asked him if there's any problems with the car. He says, I only have one problem, a very fast Mustang in front of me. Also, Bill Cooper, don't count him out. He has 8 years of experience in this type of racing. He could be laying back, just keeping everything cool for the closing laps. It's going to be a great shootout, guys.
Well, it's going to be an awesome shootout, and Dorsey Biz mentioned the fact that Cooper very experienced and keeping the car underneath them, and they've been dealing with some temp problems all week, and it's pretty warm today. Is that move down at the bottom of the diving turn way to the inside, is that also maybe helping with air?
Well, it doesn't hurt anything with air, but I don't think that's why he's doing it explicitly. I really think he's just trying to get off the bumps. We've got another spin. I think that's that same car again.
Yeah, number 48, Mike Giglio, is off once again. And that's one of the problems here. If you're mid-pack and you're getting hammered by lapped cars and faster cars as well, you get offline in a hurry.
Well, he was off there. That was the kind of the latter part of Big Bend, our turn one. Now he's rejoined the race.
He rejoined right in front of Derek Bell and also one of the Zippo cars. And let's take a look at what happened to him, Doris. And he hooked to the outside.
Yeah, actually, and it wasn't turn one either. It was actually left-hander. They got off on the outside, hooked across the racetrack, and is now in the ditch over there.
Well, there he is back on track and seemingly okay. Just has to keep his head in the game here. Maybe just calm down, smooth out a little bit, and get back into it. And there we go. We're going to take a look at some action elsewhere in the pack. That's John Heinrichsey. And right in front of him is Kitchik. And Heinrichsey, that car is still pretty much a street stock car from Phoenix Motors and Joe Aquilani's team. And they're looking at actually building a car for this championship. They're just trying to get some points on board with Peter Kitchik in the Quad and Toad Hall Porsche. And except for that problem, he is awfully quick.
Yeah, I had a lot of speed on up No Name Straight right there when he passed that car. I mean, that was staggering amount of speed. This is a good racetrack for the Porsche. And these cars are really fast here at London.
one of those situations that when he's alone and doesn't have traffic to work with and he can keep the momentum up and the turbo spooled, these cars are really brilliant here, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a good car for here. It handles the bumps quite well. That's a key issue. It's not as heavy as some of the Corvettes and the Vipers and so forth.
There is Kitchik having a very strong run as he heads into Big Bend. Let's check in with Calvin Fish. He's got some information on Kitchik.
Talking to Peter Kitchak's crew, they believe that the car is fine after his early lap off. They say he's got down to the times that he was running on the first couple of laps, and he's back in the groove and keeping his head down, trying to get it back to the front of the pack.
Problem is, Cal, he lost a lot of ground. He's working by a couple of the slower vets out there, and he definitely is on the move. There's no question. He's just back ways. Oh, Archer taking a move on board, and he got by Diorio easy.
Too easy. I'm wondering if something went wrong there. Diorio's car looked slow coming off that corner on the downhill. Archer made that pass easily, like you said. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, he was by him almost before they got to the start-finish line, and that's early on that straight.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been some sort of a problem there with the Mustang. But if it was, he's back on it now.
Clear track right now for Bobby Archer. He is in front of Diorio. The question now is whether he'll drive away from Diorio or whether Diorio can stay with him. Let's take a look.
Oh, it's just a perfect downhill run. Like I say, timed it perfect, carried a lot of speed on the downhill, popped out as soon as he got on the flat, and just carried it right down to the brake zone.
Well, maybe we're seeing a little bit of what we talked about earlier with those tires of Diorio just giving up a little bit here, and on that diving turn, grip is everything.
Boy, you out there, the Mustang really hopping around on the bumps. Looked pretty ugly as it came through there. I saw the front wheel had a lot of understeer in it, and then it hit the bumps and loosened it up.
Bobby Archer coming up. There's Paul Brown again. That Mustang still smoking a little bit, and it's obviously costing him in pace. Usually Paul Brown right on the pace, but both of them get through clean. And there's Archer, there's Diorio. We were talking a little bit about track position here and how Bobby Archer was wanting to get to the front. Derek Bell's been deep in the pack the whole time. And Derek, this track position, you have to be scrapping for huge.
I've now got Kermit in front of me and a few tail markers. Kermit in the new car. Gonna try and go around this Corvette, can I?
And he makes the pass around Terry Lackey in the vet. He's basically chasing the car. We're going to see Derek get a lot more as this season unfolds. We'll be right back.
Is a new career in your future? Call Motorcycle Mechanics Institute today and get on the fast track to success. MMI graduate and Harley-Davidson service manager Randall Richards knows what it takes.
When I'm looking to hire new technicians, I need to find somebody who has a broad background and a solid understanding of how Harleys work. You know, somebody who is serious and efficient, ready to go with on-the-job training. I can always find these qualities in an MMI graduate.
Call 1-800-994-3664 today.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Mud holes, dirt roads. Most people wouldn't think of driving through stuff like that. But then that's the beauty of Subaru all-wheel drive. It automatically transfers power from the wheels that slip to the wheels that grip, which means it does the thinking for you.
Sorry, mate. Guess I wasn't thinking.
Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
The Speed Vision GT Championship is brought to you by Toyota. Get the most of your day every day.
You are on board the Toyota Supra Turbo of '94, Dave Schartz, and he is chasing Reese Cox in that new C5 who snuck around him, and behind him, Peter Kitchik is closing in. Kitchik is absolutely flying back around this pack.
Yeah, he's done a good job of catching everybody back up. He's driving that Porsche quite hard after he went off down there in turn one. See down the diving turn right now, a lot of G-forces there. He's back in the draft now. He's in the slipstream. So, look at that, big smoke. Something just went back in.
You can hear his crew say, "You're smoking heavy." They noticed it as well, and he immediately, well, when the crew tells you that, you immediately get out of the throttle and get offline and try and then assess the situation. And he is venting out of the engine right there.
Yeah, look at the bottom. There's a vent tube that's coming out there, and it's pumping straight oil. It's pumping it onto something, and that's going to make for an awfully slippery racetrack for the guys behind Mr. Kitchek.
Kitchek just trying to nurse it around, get it back into the pits, but boy, a lot of the space he's at right now, he's right on line, Doris.
Yeah, he's running on line, and he's spewing a lot of fluids there, it looks like.
Ride with Peter Kitchek right now as that's into the climbing turn.
I was listening there for the engine. It still sounds like it's running on all 6. Sounds fine, but he's offline now. You see he's pulled offline.
And there's Bobby Archer still hanging on over Diorio.
Oh, I just saw the oil flag. Do you see the oil flag at corner worker right there? That's the debris flag or oil flag. So obviously Kitchek is losing a lot of fluid in the racetrack. Look at that. Archer went wide. I think he got in the oil. He's just lost the lead.
Or did he get in the oil, or was he trying to avoid the oil, and Diorio just decided to drive through it?
Well, one or the other. He pulled
slick down the front straight into turn 1.
There you go. See, the drivers are complaining right now. Huge oil slick in the turn 1. I don't know if Bobby tried to drive around it or if he slid and went to the outside, but it left an opening. Rick Diorio took the opportunity and now leads again.
Yeah, you heard Pete Halsmer informing his crew that there's a big problem into turn 1, and I think it continues all the way around the track. There's a lot of problems out there.
Man, there's a ton of oil out here, guys.
That's drivers telling the crew. Look at this. Look at the different lines down the downhill. Archer to the inside, ran all the way down the inside to avoid the oil. Now he's got the inside of turn 1, but there's oil down here, remember.
Boy, there's that brake squeal again, so he's obviously on him pretty hard into this section. Diorio, boy, if anybody knows the rain line around this track, and if the oil's down in the dry, that might not be a bad plan, and it's certainly working for him right now. Scotty White and the vet was that last voice you heard, and they are very concerned about the quantity of oil out there.
Well, it's not too bad, the oil, if you can see it, but if you can't see it, and sometimes you can't because the sun glares on the shiny surface of the road, then you're really, really in trouble because you'll be driving in. If you can see it, yeah, I can see it right there. See it on the uphill?
Yeah,
see all the oil?
easily.
These guys all go to the inside of that. They can see it.
Smart move there. There is the, that's another of the Toyota Super Turbos. That's Peter Tinelli and John Heinrichsey in the Pontiac right behind him.
Now, the other thing that happens is that people drive through the oil, they spread it across the surface, so you don't get to see it after it's spread, but you certainly can feel it.
Tinelli, boy, he goes way out wide, and Heinrichsey takes a look, and not enough there, and Tinelli is going to hang on at least on to No Name. That's a pretty strong run once again by Heinrichsey. If you remember the coverage of Mosport, if you saw it, he was unbelievable in the opening laps till he had it off.
Right in the oil. They just went right through the oil that time. So,
yeah. Look at this. Oh, Archer, the back stepped out as he went to throttle there, Doris. He wants back around Diorio now bad.
Yeah, but now they got a really slippery racing surface. You're seeing all these cars now trying to make some funny lines to stay out of the oil. When you got to pass somebody, you got to go somewhere to pass, and usually that means you're going to go right into the oil. It's pretty bad up here on the uphill turn. We'll see it. See if you can see it through the windshield here. Not quite.
No, they both get through. But you can see there's that line right there. Oh, and Archer maybe got a tire in it and skipped sideways a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the uphill. You can also get real launched there going out the outside like that. Drop his left wheels in the dirt. Here's the diving turn.
Well, he sure didn't lose any ground with that little drop of the tires here as he is back and covering Diorio big, and oh, he got a run.
Good run, tracks it out real well, gets the big pop down the straightaway. No problem normally, but remember the brakes and braking zone is pretty slippery down there with the oil.
He's trying to wedge it inside here.
Right in front of them is George Biskup in the Porsche.
And boy, they're getting caught up in this. Here comes Diorio getting around that car.
You can hear the BF Goodrich tires screaming away. They're squealing tires are happy tires, so they're happy today.
I think that Porsche they just walked by or worked by was Danny Marshall in the 08 car. Looks exactly like Biskup's car, which may have surprised them a little bit. They may have thought he was a little quicker, thinking it was Biskup, but they finally sneaked through clean. And now they're closing in on one of the Zippo Mustangs. That's another of the street stock class that they're just trying to get some points while they get their cars completed. The Speed Division GT Championship is really generating some interest among manufacturers, and a lot of people are in there just basically killing time till they can get their cars built and try and get some points.
Yeah, these cars are heavily modified cars. It's not an overnight process to make a race car out of a street car. So a lot of these teams are undergoing that process right now, building up the real race car, running a modified street car, less modified than the race car will be. Oh, did you see the wiggle right there with Archer? Archer got into the oil, had a big slide right in the middle of that corner. Did a good job of saving, and of course he's an ice racer, so he's used to that.
And I think he was thinking of using that Zippo Mustang as a pick. He was trying to take a run, but just didn't quite get it done. We go a little bit further in the pack, and here is that battle. There is Reese Cox, number 98 in the vet, and then Chart, and then here's Kitchik. A lot of smoke, but I mean, he's still out there.
Well, I can't believe he's still out there. You're right, Greg. That thing, I thought it blew a motor or something. We saw it venting oil pretty heavily, and but it quit smoking, which means it's either it fixed itself or it's out of oil, and I think it's probably the latter.
That means that his days are probably numbered. If it's out of oil, it might run for a little bit, but wonders how long. But boy, he's certainly not losing much ground. Here we are back on board with Archer at the exit of the diving turn. This time he gets that move made a lot sooner.
Oh yeah, he had that one really good. Good clean. There's a lap car. He's pinching the lap car. So he's going to rub Diorio off on the lap car if he has to.
Boy, you can tell though, Diorio's car seems very strong on the brakes. And even though Archer was alongside, under braking, he was able to make it tough.
That was good racing back there. You know, they saw the lap car, and oh, whoa, look at that, Diorio with the big mega slide. Good car control. Of course, if he spun that car, he'd lose his job with Skip Barber by morning. So he caught that one, though.
I am absolutely stunned he saved that. And it cost him a lot of time, obviously. There we are again watching that battle with Cox, Chart, and Kitchik. And it's amazing that Kitchik is still out there, and I don't see him venting anything at this point. And the way that car was running, he did not stop at the pits.
And I'm surprised at that, because we saw it losing a lot of oil, and we saw the oil on the racetrack, and the pit guys called him on the radio. We heard that. But for some reason, he hasn't stopped the pits, and that car's still running.
And running competitively at that. He is really glued to the back of Chart's bumper. And Calvin, it's very surprising that Kitchik has not stopped in the pits. What's up?
Just like a football coach arguing the official's decision, David Moore went to work with Peter Kitchak. You really felt that the meatball flag, the mechanical flag was unnecessary. He spoke to Mick Trite, and he reversed the decision.
Yeah, it didn't look very bad, and it cleared itself up. And, you know, if you could, you're out. I think we got a break. It's a little start, of course, about last weekend, putting it on a roof. So hopefully this week, we've got a lot to catch up. He spun early. We need a yellow, man.
Okay, they need a yellow, as you suggested, guys.
Well, Dorsey, they dodged a bullet. Indeed, if they had been black flag, that would have been it.
I don't think they have dodged a bullet, though. I'm seeing whiffs of smoke still coming out the back of the push. I saw it in the straightaway, and I just saw it again just right there in the corner. So whatever it was or whatever it is, I think he still has a problem that's not going to fix itself. Race cars don't fix themselves.
Well, he was able to get by Chart, though, so whatever the problem is, it doesn't seem to be affecting his speed all that much. He is now past Chart and trying to do something with Reese Cox as they climb up that turn. And he's taking a look at him. Cox, whoa, I thought he was going to close the door, but Cox let him through.
Lets him through cleanly with no problem. I find all that pretty surprising. You know, that Porsche is still running really, really well. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I am leery of that thing finishing the race with all that oil that it left.
Well, we'll keep a close eye on that, obviously. Here's Cox, and there is Chart. That is a great battle a little bit further back as well. Now that, well, look at that. Kitchik cleared him, and he is drawn away. And here is Derek Bell, and he's taking a look at some traffic as well as he works through the pack. And there is that battle between Heinrichsey and Tonelli. And so it doesn't matter where you are on this track, apparently. You're finding somebody to race with. Some great battles throughout the pack on board, looking backwards from Derek Bell.
Shift into summer and get terrific deals during Sears Summer Tire and Wheel Sale. With thousands of tires in stock, we've got the tire for whatever you drive. Save big on top brands like Michelin, Bridgestone, and Goodyear. Get our best-selling touring tire, the Response RST Touring 2000, for as low as $39.99. And Sears' low price guarantee for tires means we'll match anyone's advertised price. Great tires, low prices at Sears, your smart stop for tires and batteries.
The hottest wheels on the track are also the coolest wheels on the road. Forgeline.
lose myself in the sound of the engine and watch the white lines on the road shoot by me like a million comets.
If this is what you live for, the Outdoor Life Network is your network. It's the only place you can turn to for the tips and techniques that will inspire your next adventure. If you don't get OLN, call 1-800-OUTDOOR and ask your cable company to add the Outdoor Life Network, Adventure TV.
Welcome back to Lime Rock, the Speed Vision GT Championship Round 2, and it looks like Bobby Archer, Dorsey, has opened that up a little bit now over Diorio, and he's got himself a little breathing room.
Yeah, that's the biggest gap we've seen all day. Diorio really falling off badly now. Maybe it's the tires like we talked about before, the fact that he had to go out on stickers, but big gap.
Wow, and Archer gets a break with that lap traffic. But Calvin Fish, it's possible it's not just tires, I understand.
Rear tire temperatures may be a problem for Rick Diorio, but right now, even more so, is the engine temperature. He's reaching a 240-degree mark on the temperature gauge. They like to run about 220, so he's decided to back the pace off a little bit, see if he can get those temperatures back down, and then make a charge towards the end of the race.
That looks like a crew with a little concern on their faces, Doris.
240 on water temp is awfully hot, and it usually won't come back down from there. Oh boy, lock-up brakes in turn 1. That poor car's been in trouble a couple times already. They've got oil smoke. It's going to be pretty slippery out there, I would think.
Well, of course, his oil and Kitchik's as well.
Mustang hit me.
That was Kitchik, and you now know why he was suddenly. Look at the left front corner. There's some serious damage there, and we know why. Let's take a look on the onboard, Doris.
Well, he said Mustang hit him. Sure enough, the Zippo car turned in. He was inside of the Zippo car. I guess the guy didn't see him there and took off his right front fender.
Boy, just shut the door firmly, and Kitchik able to recover pretty quickly, but all that work he did to get up by a couple of... Oh, Tonelli has spun now on the exit of the diving turn.
That's a dangerous place to leave your race car sitting broadside, I'll tell you. He wants to be getting out of there right now.
But, oh, there goes Archer. He elected to go around the outside. There is some room. There's Diorio. And, oh, Cooper gets caught up behind a couple of cars in there. Tonelli gets it going, lights him up, and is back and underway. But boy, if you're going to spin there, you want to end up scrubbing speed and stopping on track, then go off the outside.
Well, he didn't hit anything. That's the good news. I think there's our oiler. That's why the racetrack's so slippery, that smoking car right there. But to get sideways, and look, Diorio's in trouble. Did you see the smoke? I think his oil temperature or water temperature just bit him.
Wow, and a smart move. He pulled well off the track, as far out of harm's way in terms of an impact zone. He knows apparently that that is a terminal failure, and he just wants to get it parked. Well, now he's moving again.
Yeah, he's got it up and running again, but I sure saw smoke over there when he pulled it off the racetrack. Now he's going through. Oh, Heinrichsey off on the downhill now. Must be oil on the racetrack, Greg, because that's he doesn't make that kind of mistake often.
Not very often, and he did a brilliant save. Lap car Marshall. There's the BMW of our Legends driver, Derek Bell. And here comes Archer. And now he's got a pretty comfortable lead in hand. Let's watch what happened here to Heinrichsey. He just ran up behind that Porsche. I think it surprised him.
Boy, he went to the outside of the Porsche to pass and ran completely out of the room. Look at the corner worker stepping back. He said, uh-oh, that's a lot of car coming at me. Good save as he got it back on the racetrack, but I think you might be right. He might have been caught out by how slow that Porsche was running.
It's a nice move by Danny Marshall once he realized where Heinrichsey was to move over and give him room to get back on. And Heinrichsey did the right thing by keeping his foot in it. And that car continues. John Heinrichsey, one very experienced driver. When they get their program put together and they have a car up to GT specs, he's going to be spectacular.
Well, he'll be a contender for sure. This car's nowhere near a GT spec car, but he gets the most out of it. Very experienced in this car. He's done many, many endurance championships with that same car.
Right behind him is Derek Bell in the Speed Vision Legends of Motorsports car, coming right at you as he heads down that long diving turn. Back on board with Derek, taking a look at that battle going on behind him, and here's what it looks like from the back going into Big Bend. We'll be back at Lime Rock.
Out here, one name has always stood alone. And now you can bring it home with your free John Deere video. You'll see tractors born on American soil, drawn from a century of know-how. And while every John Deere is bred on the farm, some of our best-loved tractors live a little closer to home. Call this number for your free video. You'll find John Deere lawn tractors start at just $38 a month, so you can bring John Deere power into your own backyard to work the earth, sow the seeds, tend the crops, carry the load, and clear the way. Why face another year of yard work alone? Call for your free video now. You'll discover John Deere muscle comes in just your size. And no matter how much ground you cover, you'll see why nothing runs like a Deere.
You're doing 260 feet per second on a slick track. Are you really qualified? Qualify with Speed Vision. This week it's live NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying from Pocono, Friday at 3 Eastern.
Welcome back to Lime Rock. You're looking at the number 47 Zippo Ford Mustang of Gary Smith, and he's moving over, pointing by Derek Bell, but he lost some momentum big, and here's why.
Downhill corner, gets in the slipperiness again. Big spin, snaps it around. He's done a 360, has not hit anything, so he'll continue on.
That's
Here's
the old
Derek
Rockford
Bell.
save.
Oh, Derek's locked his brakes up. Look, he's going off.
It just pulled the front brakes off my wheel.
Well, a little emotion there from Derek Bell as he's bringing it back on.
My sentiments exactly. He got out there. That's up. Here's Kitchik. Kitchik is off the racetrack. He's off. I think this time his day is done.
Boy, he's pulling over and stopping, and it's not good at all. You're not seeing a lot of smoke out of the back of that car, but that may be because, as you said, there's nothing left.
Well, you look at that fender from the earlier incident.
Well, here's the onboard. Let's see what happens.
Oh, missed a gear. He's dead. He missed a gear. You heard it.
Gearbox just let go, David.
Oh, he didn't miss a gear. He didn't have a gear left. You heard the engine wind up. It snapped a gear, snapped the shaft of the transmission. His day is over.
He is done. He's talking to one of the corner workers. And let's go back and take a look at that loop by Smith.
Well, it just gets away from him on the downhill. He's got it locked down now. He'll release the brake, let it snap around, get back on the brake. That gets him headed the right direction again and out of harm's way.
Like I said, Jim Rockford would be proud.
That's where he learned to watch all those Rockford Fowl shows.
Now he's back at speed up through the climbing turn. Through West Bend right here, and there's one of those vets out in front of him. And there's the blue and white vet, a lap down, doing a nice job of just trying to circulate. That's Terry Lackey. Had that huge flip at Moseport, if you watch that show near the end of the race. And Gary Smith, that Zippo Mustang, that doesn't seem to be too much harmed by that spin, maybe a little flat spot on the tires, but he's able to stay after it, and he's running right now pretty strongly with Scotty White.
Actually, by releasing the brake and letting it snap back around the other way, it didn't give him a flat spot. He let the tire roll, so he's probably okay on that.
Probably, and up front it is Bobby Archer in the Viper Speed Dodge Viper that continues to lead, but there is Bill Cooper in that multicolored vet with the yellow wheels, and he is starting to close it up just a little bit. And they too, that's the C4 vet. They are in the process of building a C5, but this is one quick C4.
Yeah, Bobby Archer would like to back off the pace, but he can't with Cooper pressuring him like that. I say he'd like to back off, of course, because the racetrack's oily. We're seeing all these spins, but when you got a guy hounding you like you got when you have somebody like Bill Cooper chasing him, you cannot let off.
Yeah, it's not like he's right underneath that rear spoiler, but every time Bobby looks, he sees that car. And at Moseport, he followed that car from behind for a large part of the race. And he knows Cooper is merciless. It's getting interesting here at the Rock.
Are you tired of waiting for monthly car magazines? Don't wait, get Auto Week. Start Auto Week racing to you every week. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for racing coverage. Auto Week covers it all. NASCAR, kart, Formula One, sports cars, the IRL, and brings it to you first. Behind the scenes as well as on the track, just days after the race. Don't wait for the fastest road tests. Auto Week drives every new car, truck, SUV, and van, and tells you about them first, as only a weekly can. For a true car lover, once a month is not enough. Don't wait for auto shows, trends and insights, personalities, and special features. Call 1-800-445-3800 for 52 weeks of Auto Week at our absolute lowest price, just $19.95. Save over $100 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Call 1-800-445-3800 now for Auto Week. Don't wait for monthly car magazines. Get Auto Week every week. Once a month is not enough. The Speed Vision GT and Touring Car Championships, broadcast right from the driver's seat with some of the world's greatest road racers like Derek Bell. Only on Speed Vision.
The Speed Vision GT and Touring Car Championships from Mid-Ohio, June 20th at 4 Eastern.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. The new Silverado interior is so big, there's plenty of room for seating. And, in a pinch... Mommy said I could ride the pony. Ample room for sleeping. Introducing Silverado, the truck from Chevrolet.
Who is Speed Vision? It's the guys who put it all on the line. Guys like Andy Green, who can't go fast enough, and Alan Shepard, who did all of his best driving on the moon. Think of Don Aronow catching air. Kenny Roberts grinding the toe off his boot. And those guys with the right stuff? But you get the point. So turn on Speed Vision. Where men are men, and insurance agents are nervous.
Welcome back to Lime Rock Park, and it's time for our Sears Die Hard race reset. And as we're getting right down near the end of this one, it's Bobby Archer leading. There have been 3 lead changes, and it's been either Archer or Diorio, and they have put on a fine show. Diorio now has problems. He's out, as is Peter Kitchik, a couple of the front runners. And Archer leads. There's Derek Bell, but there's Cooper. And, well, I'll tell you what, even though Cooper's back there a little bit, Doris, Bobby can't be that comfortable.
No, he's not comfortable at all. The racetrack's really greasy and slimy. Everybody's spinning out, crashing all around him. Lap cars to have to be dealt with, too, right there in front of him. Yeah, he can't let the guard down, not yet.
And there is Bill Cooper, that number 75 vet. And as we said, at Mosport, he had that Pirate Racing car awfully quick. He had mechanical problems, but he seems to be minding things, minding the store, as it were, very nicely.
Minding is exactly what you do at Lime Rock. You mind your manners, mind your business, and you try to drive, as clean as you can. Let things come to you. Don't force issues.
And Cooper now is going to have to work through that same group of traffic that Archer just went through. Here's some battling a little bit further back in the pack. There is Biskup, who has very quietly, Dorsey, worked his way into a very solid third.
Yeah, George Biskup, of course, we thought that was him earlier, but it wasn't. It was a car that painted just like him. George has been out of trouble all day. There's the white flag, meaning 1 lap to go. So right now, Archer telling himself to be calm. Don't worry about this traffic. Don't rush things. Don't make a mistake. And you got this one in the bag. It's only a 56-second lap. So... he'll be talking to himself this last lap, I guarantee you.
And being very careful in traffic. Nice move there by one of the vets. And he knows he's got this one covered, as you said, if he's just smart about it. Cooper's second. And with Biskup, that quiet run to third, remember, he had a second at Mosport. He is really looking strong in terms of the points if he can hang on here. But Archer going for his second straight, and for a program that came together, a little lock up there by that vet, or that Mustang again, for a program that came together as late as this one, if Archer wins 2 in a row, that's huge.
Yeah, that's the stuff that scares you on the last lap. See the car in front of you locked down, all of a sudden a bunch of smoke come up, you don't know what it is yet, and all you want to do is get home to this place right here.
There he goes. He moves clear of that car, and Bobby Archer hangs on and takes win number 2 straight for that Viper Speed team. Remarkable achievement for Bobby Archer. There is Cooper hanging on for a strong second place. Nice job, and boy, he just did it right. Took very good care of that car, and Biskup indeed takes third.
These guys all stayed out of trouble. They don't have anything wrong with their race cars, so they can race again next week. That's what you want to do on these long ones. Here's Pete Halsmer bringing the Acura NSX across the line.
There is Halsmer, and a nice run by Halsmer. And there is Diorio. He had that problem. Looked like he was going to park for the day, then eased it back onto the track. Whatever it was, he kept it under him, and it has a 5th.
Well, maybe the thing overheated, and he just sat and let it cool. I don't know, but he definitely has a run again.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise, but a good run by the local favorite. And so Bobby Archer, as he's enjoying the spoils of victory, the wave to the crowd around the track. There is Cooper behind him. Bobby Archer, whoa, a little wide on the cool down lap. We'll be back to talk to Bobby and the rest of the gang.